Well, we keep saying it every day during this Specsavers Ashes series, but today was yet again another really entertaining day of Test cricket. Probably a day, Mike Hussey, where England again would have felt a little bit happier at the end of it.
Oh, another intriguing day of Test cricket, really was. England will definitely be the happier team. I thought they did a great job in the field and with the ball. Jafra Archer picking up 6 wickets, showing it's only early in his Test career, but he is showing that he is a star of this game. Whether it's T20 cricket, Test cricket, does not matter. He's got something special there. I thought Sam Curran bowled really well. He was a very handy addition for this English team. Got the ball to swing and picked up 3 handy wickets for England as well. From the Australian point of view, they'll be disappointed. Best batting conditions today. They weren't able to get any really big partnerships going and get past England's score. Steve Smith had a failure today, and I think it's his lowest score for the series. He only made 80, so terrible day for him. But I do joke, but he was superb once again. Does look a class above. The amount of runs he's scored in this series, it's just incredible. We're very lucky, I guess, and privileged to be watching greatness in action, and just the way he goes about it. England almost gave up hope of getting him out, trying to keep him tight, trying to keep the runs dry, and then just attack the other Australian batsmen. So all in all, I think England will be very happy with the way the day planned out, especially not losing a wicket late tonight as well.
Yeah, well, that's
just.
Just a near thing on the very last ball. There was a big shout, but it was reviewed and overturned. Let's talk a bit about Steve Smith and the way he ended up getting out. Who knew his kryptonite was a straight ball from Chris Woakes? Although Chris Woakes has got him out before in this series as well. Can we think, we were talking about this before, can you think of a side in recent times, particularly an Australian side, that has been so reliant on one batsman, and what does that say about the rest of this batting lineup as this series comes to an end?
Well, the short answer is no. I can't think of an Australian team that has relied so heavily on one player. I think the Australian team in the last 4 or 5 years has probably relied very heavily on Warner and Smith. Now, unfortunately, David Warner hasn't had a great series at all, so it's now been left to Steve Smith. I get the feeling he thrives on that, much like a Virat Kohli thrives on the extra pressure playing for India as well. So it just keeps driving them even more to greater heights. I think Steve Smith has scored double the amount of runs of the next highest scorer, which is Ben Stokes, in the whole series. So phenomenal performance from him. It really is. The hunger for runs is something that I don't think I've seen for a long, long time. And he just keeps pushing the bar higher and higher. It's phenomenal. I don't know what more to say about him. You know, we've said so many superlatives about him this summer. It's just incredible.
It's hard to come up with new ones. What about the other Australian batsmen, though? What does this say about the form that they're in? And when they go back to Australia at the end of this series, how many of those are cemented in for a place when the Australian Test series starts?
Well, probably not many. And so that's going to be very interesting coming into the Australian summer. A lot of the players are going to be thinking, right, I need to get some big runs early in the summer. Sheffield Shield games, there's some domestic one-day cricket as well to really push their place. There's a group of pretty quality players sitting on the sidelines, like an Usman Khawaja, Cameron Bancroft. So there's going to be a lot of competition for places. I reckon there'll be a few nervous boys there. What I would say is in this series, though, the bowling from both teams has been pretty good. And there's been a lot of movement. It has not been easy to score runs from either side. And that's why it makes Steve Smith's performance even more amazing, because he's been able to score runs when pretty much everyone else has failed.
Well, we've mentioned some of the bowlers from today, but just a little bit further into looking at say, Jafra Archer. His second 5-wicket haul in 4 tests, which is already amazing. And we saw him bring out a few variations today that you often just see sort of in the shorter formats of the game. What do you think it is about him that has made him so difficult to play in these first 4 tests? Well,
probably the first thing is his pace. You don't see too many guys that can bowl 150 k's an hour or over 90 mile an hour in England, but he just ambles in. You know, he's such an athletic guy. It just cruises in and you think, oh, this isn't going to be too fast. And then all of a sudden, it comes a lot quicker than what you think. Very skillful bowler as well. He generally bowls a pretty good line and length. There's not too much loose stuff. But then you mentioned about the variations as well. We saw a brilliant slower ball to dismiss Nathan Lyon. Yeah. I know it's Nathan Lyon down the bottom of the order, but he was playing nicely. But just to have the presence of mind, think, okay, well, I might be able to deceive him with that. He's got an excellent bouncer as well, which is always, whether you're a top order player or a lower order player, having that in your back of your mind is always a scary proposition as well. So I think he's a fantastic talent, and I think he's been the find of this Ashes for England, and someone that they, hopefully will invest in for a long period of time.
Now another one where we saw Curran in there today. Ironic that after Mitch Marsh doing so well yesterday, after having not played any matches, we saw Curran do it today, and those two are good friends from in their younger days. They spent a lot of time together. Are you surprised that he hasn't been seen until this final test?
I'm definitely surprised. He obviously had a wonderful summer last year against India. He was the man of the series. Just having that left arm variation is just so important. He can swing the ball back, so that's all going to create problems as well. He can get the ball to angle away from the right-hander as well. He can be very handy with the bat. We've seen that in the past. So he just offers you so much balance and variety to that team. And so I'm very surprised that he hasn't played. He's such a competitive guy as well. So I think England have probably missed a trick there by not playing him. But having said that, you've also seen another guy that's just come in like Mitch Marsh, fresh legs, fresh mind, to come in and make an impact like this has been brilliant for him.
Speaking of fresh legs and fresh minds, do you have any concerns about the likes of Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood after the amount of bowling they've had to do in this past week?
They'll be exhausted. I think a lot of players from both teams will be exhausted, especially the ones that have been involved in World Cup plus this Ashes series. It's intense cricket. Every day is tough, hard, a grind, and you put in so much effort. So they'll all be hurting, but they'll be thinking, right, it's one more day, one more big effort, one big push to try and bowl England out, and then they can have a bit of a break and hopefully have a few weeks away from the game where they can physically freshen up, but also mentally as well, because I'm sure this series has taken a lot out of them.
Oh, one more day? Who's to say England will all be out tomorrow? We don't know that.
We don't know.
Well, whatever does happen tomorrow, I feel very, very confident that it's going to be another brilliant day of Test cricket. They haven't let us down so far. Make sure you stay logged on right here on ESPN Cricket Info.